You ever had a bad pube day?
I've never really examined them enough to really like.
Well, I went to get into the shower, and the way it was parting kind of reminded me of Dr. Robotnik's mustache. And then that instantly, because we're talking about this conversation today, it instantly had me thinking about like Jim Carrey and his role in that movie. And then I had to like sort of stop myself for a minute and be like, why am I looking at my penis and thinking about Jim Carrey? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dustin.
No, I'm Corey.
And we are the Couch Play Cousins. In today's episode, we're talking about game-based movies. And shows can kind of play into this too, and books, I guess.
It's going to be a real descent into mediocrity.
Yeah, you can probably just shut this off now.
Yeah,
we'll see you next week.
This is going to be just a fucking laugh fest,
But, you know, as always, we will be drinking throughout the podcast. And today we have the finest of sipping rums ever created. You have to look real hard to find this one on the shelves. It's Captain Morgan. What's that? Spiced rum. It's very rare. Very rare.
2019. It was a good year.
Yeah. And we're not drinking Coke. We're not pussies. It's a straight on ice.
Getting that vanilla bean.
Wait, I just contradicted myself. It's not straight.
Oh,
it's
sure.
on ice. Okay.
Yeah, just original spiced Captain. I even got my leg up, like him on the barrel.
He actually
you see
does.
That? Yeah.
He really does. So like I said, game-based movies, shows also count and everything. So let's actually start off. I think the best way to do this is just kind of list what movies are or what has been actually created so we don't get a bunch of fat finger comments about like, well, you forgot about this movie and that one was pretty good. So
we're going to literally go through every single 100.
Well, if there's a sequel, I'll skip through it. But I do have the Wikipedia of these, gems all pulled up in front of me. So I'm just gonna kind of run through at least the majority of them here. Okay, of course we have the original Super Mario Brothers,
all right,
classic.
Yes.
Double Dragon. I know we actually mentioned this one before.
Amazing.
Street Fighter, which I forgot was an actual movie.
Oh, the Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. I forgot that was an actual movie.
That was so bad that it was good.
Right. Mortal Kombat. How can we forget that?
That was
Plenty of those. Plenty of those. I'm not going to read those. Wing Commander. I don't recall that. Tomb Raider. The Tomb Raider films.
Yeah.
Resident Evil films. Natch.
Yeah.
Apparently, House of the Dead, which was another one I actually forgot of.
Oh my God. What a fucking dumpster fire. Alone
in the Dark.
Christian Slater.
Yeah, I actually forgot that was a video game.
Yeah, I thought it was just a terrible movie.
Right. Our favorite Doom.
Yes. The Rock's probably best movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to skip over some of these, so don't be offended if you don't hear one of your favorite all-time films in this list.
You have a favorite film on this list. You're fucking sad. Sorry.
Of course, Silent Hill has their movies. Dead or Alive had films. Hitman.
Okay. There was actually a couple of those. I think one of them was okay.
You know what? Another one I forgot about?
Yeah.
Max Payne.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
Prince of Persia. And then I don't see. They said they made Need for Speed. I don't remember that
Jake
one.
Gyllenhaal. Sorry, he just popped in my head. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, that was Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
And of course the recent Assassin's Creed. And then, Fassbender.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Magneto.
yeah, that went. Yeah, you're right to forget that.
It's Magneto.
Yeah. And then Warcraft, the dude from Sons of Anarchy. Remember, he was in that terribly flopped box office, weird animated.
That they actually made that into a movie.
Yeah, that was kind of recent too.
Wikipedia did.
Oh, this one was recent. You're going to like this one. When I say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, what kind of video game movie do you think of?
Rampage.
Detective Pikachu was also recent.
I thought that one was actually okay.
Yeah, and then there were a couple other ones in there, of course, too. And like I said, there were some sequels.
Yeah.
And then of course we do have movies like the upcoming Sonic, but I'm sure that could be a topic all on its own. So
we'll wait till it bombs. And
So there was your list. Like I said, I skipped over a couple, but there's your list of just absolute, fucking masterpieces that have ever graced us on the big screen.
I don't know where to fucking start.
I guess, I always sort of think like why do they bother like making games into movies, right? I mean, of course, on the one side, like of course the video game industry, it's big, right? And they're recognizing that and they're trying to capitalize on it.
You ever think it's just some bunch of nefarious people that just want to like ruin video gaming, but they aren't good enough at it?
Like it's
like we're gonna take what you love and we're just gonna bend it over a barrel.
It's not about money
in front
at all.
of you.
They're just trying to take down.
We're gonna destroy the industry, but they never do well enough.
So, maybe. I feel like why, and I guess this kind of leads in like let's talk about that. Like why are these so bad, right? Because most of the time you would think, or I guess the average Joe would think, when you think of video game movies, you'd be like, oh, well, that's probably cool because it's already written for you. But
I think it's just a root-ish comment. I think it's just production quality. Some of them have such terrible production quality that right off the bat you look at you and go, oh, okay, this is a knockoff video game movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if is it like an opinion on like the gaming industry as a whole. Look at all these fucking weebs, you know. They'll eat this shit up regardless of whatever kind of plate I serve it on. Is it like a comment from like Hollywood on the video game industry? Like, why do they make so many?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to the money. Like
Probably.
they know it's going to sell.
Yeah.
I really think it's probably as shallow as that. But I do like your theory. I like thinking it goes way deeper, and it's just some people that like got like made fun. They were like they didn't make it in the video game where they were terrible, and they got booed out of like a competition or something. They're like, I'll get you.
The world's longest con.
Yeah. But here's the thing. And this is every time a movie, like a video game movie gets announced, I go, no, like why? Like, and this is, okay, so like an upcoming one is Uncharted, right?
Okay.
That's been on the docket for forever. Now there's a Gears of War game coming out.
Really? I didn't know about that one.
Yes. At least it's in the early stages of working right now.
I think Dave Bautista would be awesome at that.
Yeah. Well, they also, and you know, another one that was being talked about was Duke Nukem with
Shia LaBeouf.
No.
Just do it.
Just do it, baby. There's no. What the hell is his name? He was really popular. He starred in those Jonah Hill films.
Dolph
the wrestler.
Lundgren?
No. The wrestler. He was really this move.
Oh, John Cena.
John Cena.
Okay, I can see
that.
him.
Actually is a very good fit.
That is.
I don't know if that would work well as a movie, but if they're gonna cast somebody, I guess he would be a pretty
ass
good
chin having motherfucker.
Yeah. And then of course there's the Illumination. Am I saying that? The people that made the little eyeglass wearing motherfuckers were
the Minions.
Yeah, the Minions. What's the people that made those movies?
Yeah,
the Minions and the Despicable Me. So that's what I was trying to think of.
They're making
a Super Mario movie apparently. Like an animated.
Oh, okay. There you go. I was like, we already have John Leguizamo.
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
Yeah,
and now we don't need any more.
Yeah, no. This is Yeah, no.
I keep getting pulled.
I actually think this one has a chance, but at the same time, I guess this whole harkens down to my main argument of like, do any of these really stand a chance? Because here's my biggest issue, and this is why I go no, and the same reason why I'm like really heartbroken over the idea of an Uncharted movie being made. Now, I should also say that there was the fan Uncharted film that
you got a problem with Nathan Fillion?
Well, Fillion, I think he like did it himself. I listen, I like Fillion, but he does not look like Nathan Drake. He sounds 100% like him. Like you could have sworn he voice acted him, but he doesn't. He's like just a little bit too aged. And I think like a few years back or something, like maybe it would have been a better fit. But
they could use that. What's that weird ass technology now they have? Like Will Smith's in that new movie, The Gemini Man, where it's him versus
de-aging.
him. Yeah, the de-aging thing.
Yeah.
So you think?
They could, and if they did that, he could play the role. But there's still a bigger issue. I mean, the one they were talking about. I remember the last I heard they were talking about doing like sort of a prequel, him as a kid and being Tom Holland.
I could see that a little
I could,
bit,
especially based on his like game character. But here's the thing. Because this all boils down to a bigger issue for me anyway, is that the thing about video games is they are basically interactive movies as they are now. So
some more than others.
True.
Uncharted.
Well, yeah, but Uncharted is like when I told people about that game, I told people like they are my favorite movies of recent, like this was back, in the day. And because as a game, I enjoy the games, but they're not like the best games on the planet. Like they're kind of forgettable gameplay wise.
Well, most of them operate like they're on rails.
Yes.
So it's like you said, it's more like the visual experience, and sometimes
right, like you're just
Until Dawn. Until Dawn's a good example. Like the game's on rails. Basically, you have very little like movement and interaction, and it's all about just the cinematics, I guess, and your choices.
right. So the problem that I have, like, right, because like these are movies that you're essentially watching, but you do get to interact with them. And film, it's sort of like they're taking away the interactivity aspect of a video game, and they're trying to sell it for what it is. But I think like a couple problems happen there. Like number one, it was already a movie essentially, but you got to interact with it. So why would it be better to have the same thing minus the interactivity?
Do you think like, I don't know, like, do you think people like self-identify, like gamers self-identify with a game so much that they just...
Well, actually, you just said something there that kind of actually goes more in line with where I was going is you said like self-identifying with games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think that that's another reason why like movies will fail. Because when I'm playing a game, I do like I immerse myself with a character. And when you put that into a movie context, you're just really watching somebody. You aren't being that somebody. So it kind of removes you even further from that experience. And then, of course, the other problem I think that comes to light when you make these games into movies is like you sort of then instantly start to realize that maybe the stories are a little bit more generic than what you expected. Maybe they aren't that great and cinematic.
If you think about it, games on average are about 30 hours, maybe 60 hours. Some of the bigger ones like The Witcher, 100 hours. That's a ton of content to just
cram into like a 2-hour movie.
Exactly, which either just makes into a mediocre mess, or it I don't know, it's a lot of content to cram into like something so finite. And I think that's where they lose a lot of the storyline. And we as gamers are used to a fully fleshed out story. You know what I mean? We hop into a game and we get the full experience, almost a complete arc of character development, and where most movies can't do that. And I think gamers are a tough crowd to please anyways.
I don't know about you, but Doom fit it perfectly.
Especially that first person scene. Where it just switched randomly to first person.
And part of that, oh my gosh, the first person scene in that game that's when like I said, yep, done. Like, I mean, I watched it.
They're probably like the fan service alone. They're like, oh, they're gonna love this.
They're gonna cream their pants when they see this. Nope. So the other thing that they try to do because this is the other problem when it comes to like games as films. Like it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like you're on one hand you try to be exactly like the game, but that doesn't work because people already play the game, they know that story, whatever it is. On the other hand, you try to completely make something original, which that doesn't work because then you get people that are so mad that it's removed from the lore. So you really can't win.
There's
so it's a bad way to invest your money, and it's like, look at the Resident Evils. Wasn't one of those on Mars or some shit?
I think.
I mean, forgive us if we're wrong, but I remember like watching, it was like the second one or something. It was so outlandishly, like it was just so bad. It was as if like they were trying to make it as bad and as far removed as possible from the games.
It's funny what you mentioned Resident Evil, because I came into this with a little brief clip it notes, and my clip it note literally says here under the bad section, every Resident Evil except for Resident Evil 1. Like just every single one.
You liked Resident Evil 1?
I didn't think it was that bad.
Wow.
That bad. I feel like they took some liberties with it. I wouldn't say it's a good movie. I'd say it's tolerable or okay, but they quickly go from tolerable okay to like just bastardizing the entire series.
Right.
I don't know, and I just they took Mila Jovovich and her star power didn't really carry the series either. But
she was kind of like, she was almost washed up the minute that she was a star. Like she was almost like a B actress as soon as she was an A actress to begin with.
Yeah, and it just, like I said, I don't know what they did with that series, but like if you played any of the games,
well, so I mean, of course, like I didn't like any of those. I mean, there's not many that I can think of that are actually good, but I do like. There's, you know what? Actually, let's go down that route, right? Like, are there any ones like any of these movies that are? You know what? Actually, before we talk about that,
yeah,
I mentioned it before, but since we're talking about bad movies. And how these are all terrible and talking about going in completely different directions than the games. The Sonic movie. What the fuck? Like, so first off, of course, when that launched, it had the fucking
the nightmarish fucking
the creature from hell that they were trying to pass off as Sonic, and of course, outrage in the media.
Oh yeah.
And then here's what fucking twists my nipples. They fucking they fix them, right? They fix them. And people go like, "Oh my gosh, it's great now that they fixed them." And then they're excited, and B, they're like they're almost like borderline apologetic to Paramount now, where they're like, "We should all go see this movie.
They made all the switches for us. It's got to be good."
Or no, like some of them just argue that like, well, because we should show our support. I mean, they went out of their way.
I have seen that. It's like, oh, they went out their way to listen to us, so we deserve to go and see that movie because they listened.
And and because they listened. And I'm sat here thinking like what the fuck? Like no, like they we don't owe them anything. Like they fucked up. Mm-hmm. They fucked up. So if anything, they owed that to us. And even still, but I like that's not enough to fix this movie. Can we point out like the bajillion and a half other flaws? I mean, we don't have to actually do that, but like that movie is like what it's such a what the fuck case for me. Like let's pull Sonic into this. Like it's so, oh my God, it's such a cliche. Like let's pull an alien into our world and show him simple things and he's amused by it.
Kind of reminds me of like a weaker movie version of Detective Pikachu where Detective Pikachu, they pulled all the Pokemon into our world,
right?
Live action, so it's kind of like interacting with a CG character, which I think they approached that in a much better way than I think they might be approaching this.
Yeah, this just feels like so far out of left field, and of course, you know, you have Robotnik in our world, which is like extremely like. I remember when in the trailer they were like they showed that scene where he's like Dr. Robotnik, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way to sell that name.
They really forced it.
That doesn't sound super made up.
Exactly.
But the thing about that trailer is like at the very beginning of the trailer they show him in the green hills.
Yeah,
and I thought that looked really cool, and I was like, man, if they would have just made this an animated film, I still wouldn't go see it because I think it would be pointless. But at the same time, I could at least respect that, right? Like they're at least going for what Sonic actually is,
and
not
see that.
So anyway, so that movie just looks like an atrocity to me, and it looks like why? Why did you even need to make
out
that?
of all of the possible video game options that you picked that one?
Yeah, Sonic. It just doesn't make any sense.
You know, I don't know. Like between Uncharted or more games that you are more easily adaptable to film, why Sonic? Why I still don't understand who decided to make that as the primary. It's like, oh yeah, Sonic. We pull this little blue bastard out and just cram him in your children's faces, and we want him for Christmas.
Why make Sonic when you can make another Doom movie?
Exactly.
But okay, so I wanted to get that off my back because that has just been like, it's so irritating when anytime I see any kind of positive feedback on that movie, I just get instantly on edge. But so what we were going to get into is are there good ones? Like, are there ones? And I guess this can be a little subjective.
Let's each pick one.
Okay.
Let's each pick a good movie we think is good,
okay,
and then we have to discuss why.
Okay, you first because I'm gonna need a minute.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the original Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one with the dun, 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 dun. Yeah, everyone knows what I'm talking about. So I thought that it kind of played out like the original Mortal Kombat game. All these badasses go to a tournament, proceed to beat the shit out of each other in sometimes grotesque fashion.
Nah.
You know, there wasn't much character development in those games because
what?
you know, you didn't hear Sonya Blade's backstory, so they had a little more freedom.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know, for that, you know, was it 90s? 90s?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You know,
it had to have been at least mid 90s because if not later 90s because you know what? I got the wiki here.
Yeah.
Let's
But they touched base with a little bit of the lore, like where Goro came from, the fact that
1995, mid 90s,
where like Shang Tsung was kind of this sorcerer. They touched base just enough. Had some cool fight scenes. I remember Liu Kang threw that bucket of water and it like speared Sub-Zero to the wall. I was like, sweet, or what? No, it was like frozen more, but. It was just enough fan service, and I thought it was. It's
kind of like on the level of like Friday the 13th films, like right? Like not the same genre, but like they're not great, but at the same time, like everyone can kind of enjoy watching it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a relatively good. I mean, do you have any other ones that you thought like other than that one that you thought were particularly good?
And I know we had a little controversy before we turned.
It could be subjective.
Okay. I thought Ready Player One, and we already had controversy about this. Okay. Ready Player One, I thought was good because it was the movie from Spielberg felt like kind of like a love letter to gamers. I know it was a book.
Yeah, so that's one, and that's my big topic here. And I know I kind of said at the beginning like we can talk about books too, but like I think in the context of this, because although it's a movie that's about video games. Mm-hmm. It's not a movie that's on a video game, like specific. And besides, anything that Ben Mendelsohn is in is not going to be terrible.
True, That's true. But I don't know. Maybe the movie itself, I think how it took video game characters and how it represented them and maybe the gaming culture.
Yeah.
I thought was really good.
I'll have to sit down and watch that one because I've heard decent things. And not that it necessarily is a video game movie, but but I understand, and I'll kind of let that one slide in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Just because I do understand that it's closely enough related.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
Oh man, this is it's so tough. And there's probably going to be a lot of people out there that absolutely hate this choice, but.
I already hate
it. I thought that one of the better ones was Prince of Persia.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jake Gyllenhaal's come a long way. Okay.
He has.
Ever since Nightcrawler, he's gotten better. But he...
Jake Gyllenhaal was Nightcrawler?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
He's the main character, man. Like, the movie was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh. All right.
I can't even talk to you. So, he did okay in that movie, but that movie I think was relatively true to form to the games, relatively. And the thing that I really respect about it,
Ben Kingsley was in it,
of course,
and he's a fucking amazing actor.
I'm actually sponsored by Ben Kingsley, so I have to say this. He's actually
behind you right now, just glaring at him quietly.
he's speaking some weird accent that doesn't work for him at all. It's not quite
English,
right behind
but it's still scary.
I will kill you. That was like more like Michael. The butler from it doesn't matter. Anyway, so the visual effects in that movie, because we were talking earlier, we said like they're always like low budget, like they always like spend no budget. They really did a great job in the visual effects in that movie with like the time stopping, reversing, and all that kind of stuff. Like really cool. Anyway, I thought it was one of the better video game films that I've seen.
So that raises a good question, I think. Is a good video game about production quality? Is that
movie? You mean?
Yeah, a good video game based movie.
Right.
Is it all about production quality? Because I think we keep hitting on this point.
I mean, because here's the thing, and I was gonna end with that one by saying I'm not saying it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But like if we're just talking about video game movies, it's the best one that I've come across, at least to my recent knowledge, that I thought. okay. I didn't hate that one. And I did have very low expectations going in, like I do with all video game movies. But that one, I actually walked out of thinking that could have been a lot worse. So, and the other one, and now this one isn't necessarily I'm not saying this is a good movie either. And it's not as good as Prince of Persia was.
Yeah.
The original Silent Hill.
Oh, that was interesting.
Interesting's a great word because let's face it, it sucked.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like how they did the visuals in Prince of Persia. I can appreciate the attention to detail and a lot of the recreation stuff that they did in that movie that calls back to the original Silent Hill.
When it became dark out, all the walls and stuff deteriorated. And everything.
But like almost the beginning scene in like the fog town going, like they did that.
The presentation was good.
They did that very similar to the actual game. And I think if you watch that movie, you can actually tell that the director and like a lot of the people involved in that film, like they really actually did care. It just turned out, and this was sort of harkens back to like what I was saying, is that once you turn a video game into a movie, you sort of suddenly see all the flaws with the game story, but like you get over it because you're playing it and it's an interactive experience. So when it's a movie, you realize, oh, this storyline's kind of basic and it's shitty. But if we're talking about just pure like video game film adaptation, that was one of the other ones that I didn't think was super bad.
So here's a good straddling one. So Final Fantasy.
Oh, Spirits Within.
Yeah, perfect. Advent Children. We're not going to speak those words here, you son of a bitch. What a horrible movie. We're just going to slap a name on this and everyone, you're going to love it. Oh my God.
It's funny because when I first said that, I don't know if any people thought I was joking or serious, but I knew that was going to trigger you.
It's like naming a Jaws movie without a fucking shark in it.
Yeah. There's, oh, never mind. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Final Fantasy Advent Children. It's a CG movie.
Yeah.
It carries on after, I think, the Dirge of Cerberus, I think. But it goes in line with the video games, but it's a movie. So it's a video game based movie. And I thought they did really well with that. I thought it was, they stayed true to the characters. The graphics were really good. The fight scenes were super cool in it.
Sweet.
I don't know. That's a good, I think, really, but it was very low, like off the radar kind of thing.
So I can appreciate that vote. I will say I actually own it. I don't like it. I actually tried to sell it and no one will even take it back.
Really?
Like, yeah, no, GameStops or what's the other one? The Exchange and stuff like that. Like no one wants it. But it's just a little too Japanese-y kind of for me. But I can appreciate why a lot of people would like it. I was actually kind of surprised because when I think of like a Final Fantasy movie, I'm like, I almost feel like I'm surprised it's hard to make a good Final Fantasy movie. I mean, really, at the end of the day, they're just fantasy films. They're adventure fantasy films. Like, how can you not make a good one of
What was the one they made where it was a direct lead-in to the game? That most recent game?
Final Fantasy 15 thing?
Yeah, they completely based a storyline of the game of it, which was a terrible idea.
Yeah, I hate how they do. I mean, I can appreciate how they tried to do a movie that plays into the game. And, you remember, what was another game that used to do that? Remember, it was like, not The Expanse, but it was like it was like a
sci-fi TV show.
Yeah. And I can appreciate those concepts too, but it's just like sometimes these things just aren't meant to be cinema. And actually, you know what? While we're talking about good ones, because I don't want to overlook this one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this, but I heard a lot of good things about this. But is Castlevania a game or is that based on a book or like comic book series?
As far as I'm tracking, I'm pretty sure it's a game.
Okay, because I mean, I don't know. So like I don't want to count it and say like Castlevania is a video game first, just in case I'm wrong. But if it is,
I'm sure we'll hear about it regardless.
Right. If it is a video game first, then I do hear that the Castlevania Netflix series is supposed to be phenomenal.
I watched actually the first season.
Yeah,
and it was cool. It was
Sweet.
Cool.
You watched the whole season?
Well, yeah, the first season, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I thought it was neat. Like I don't know much, I'll be honest, about Castlevania, but I knew it wasn't Richter. It was somebody else. But
I played the originals in the past, and I love them.
Yeah, he had the whip and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to someone in the back of my head now. You're missing his name and
Simon Belmont.
Yeah.
Is he in the
Yeah, there you go.
Simon and Richter?
Yeah, I was waiting for someone online to correct me as I'm like, the guy with the whip. And he's like,
No,
"Your name
I'll
is
do all the
Simon
correcting.
Belmont."
I'll whip you right here in person.
Woo!
But anyway, so I'll give an honorable mention to that.
Mhm.
I can only give an honorable mention because I haven't seen it. You say it's good. I hear a lot of other people say it's great. So there you go. I guess that one's cool. But then again, it's kind of it's a cartoon comic-y series.
Yeah.
And it's not this Hollywood shitty budget. I guess it's probably more like fans that are
maybe
doing
it's
it
the big
justice.
difference where a series, you can get more of the story kind of flushed out.
Yeah.
And maybe I think maybe as gamers, we like to have that expanded story, which I think maybe kind of caters to us a little bit better.
Right.
Um,
But what's interesting to me is that because we're talking about how bad all this shit is, but like it's funny because there's a lot of games that are based on movies that actually most of those, well, at least like I don't know, I could be wrong, but like a lot of those in my mind were like good games. Like it's better in the reverse, maybe because like movies have to have great storytelling and then games just sort of play off on the mechanics. Like but I don't know. Like I think it's funny because it's like it's better off the other way around. You know, like just letting games and I'm actually even surprised. Like games like Spider-Man, right? Like you would think that, and I know that's comic book first and then film, but still, like you would think like games like Spider-Man, like you'd be like, just like when those types of games come out, my immediate thought is, I don't know, like something removes me. But then you play it and you're like, oh, this is actually really, really fun.
I think it's because you watch the movie and you keep thinking to yourself, wow, that'd be really amazing to be able to like experience that in real life. So all they have to do is adapt mechanics that make you feel that way. And they already have a fleshed out story as opposed to having to adapt story and mechanics to something else. You know what I mean?
It's like the fandom's already there. You're not trying to like force more people into a fandom that you like was created in a niche sort of environment.
Yeah, there's plenty of Marvel-based games, probably Star Wars-based games out there that, you know, really get you in touch with that feeling of being in the movie.
I have a wiki list of games based on films too. And I'm going to skip a ton of them because I'm sure that there's a ton that I don't recognize. But let's start with this one because me and you know this one. Mm-hmm. 007, man.
Okay.
GoldenEye.
Which one?
Well, there's like a lot of them have been adapted games, but specifically GoldenEye. Right?
Yeah.
That was one of the probably most mainstream films to games that was mega successful.
That had him fighting 006 with
it
like
almost
a Sean
transcends.
Bean, right?
Like when people say GoldenEye, I would say they think of the video game probably first before they think of the movie.
Yeah, the N64 version. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's tons. I did not pre-read this list before doing this, so like I'm just kind of skipping through things as I go. Addams Family. Remember the old Game Boy and like SNES Addams Family?
I remember that.
Yeah, those were actually really good. Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Alien games.
Except for Colonial Marines, fuck you.
Yeah, that game sucked ass.
you.
But Isolation's a great game.
That was a good one. I love
that actually
the AI.
just came out on the Switch, and it's supposedly one of the best Switch ports. Maybe we'll have to stream that sometime.
I love how they did the alien in that game.
Yeah. So those games have been really good. A lot of Aliens games. Holy shit.
People got a real hard on for the Xenomorph.
Of course, Spider-Man games, and like we already kind of talked about that, but those are always really good. People really look forward to those ones. Astro Boy, I actually forgot all about those. Avatar apparently was made in the game. I don't know if that one was so successful. I don't remember people talking about that one. Oh, the Back to the Future games.
Okay.
Those ones I've never played, and I remember thinking that's stupid, but a lot of people like those. Batman games like the Arkham Asylum and stuff. And I know that those are based on comics, and I know that they're not really about the films, but
the Arkham series was amazing.
I mean, like you already said, like pretty much any Marvel thing. Oh my god, I just realized that this list is way too long to really go through all these. But so like I'll just say some ones that are on top of my head. Lion King.
Oh, that game was hard as fuck.
That game was so hard. But I don't know what it is, but I love that game. Like whenever I think about the original Game Boy, I actually think a lot about that game. I don't know why, but I do. Ghostbusters.
Okay.
That's a big one. That one just got remastered too.
There was the PlayStation 4 one, which was a little bit like more grittier and scarier, but then they took the Switch version.
Yep.
And they kitted it down, but it was cool though. with the mechanics.
They kitted the Switch version.
I
know
thought
the one
so.
that just recently came out.
I thought one was cell shaded, and I thought one was more like
no, the one that just came out was like supposed to be like a straight port.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to look at that again.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just
Nintendo's
against.
not just for kids, people. Try it out.
Isn't there not all cell shaded games?
They've got The Witcher now. Lord of the Rings. Remember, we used to play the Lord of the Rings games all the time.
There's a really good one. I don't know if it's like, what was the one with that new guy, the new system where you could like recruit?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck it. But
I know a lot of these are like movies or I'm sorry, books first, but let's face it, like movies are mostly from books anyway. And the games really did use characters and actors that were based on the films anyway.
All movies came from someone writing something on paper.
Right. And then Dragon Ball Z. Because I said shows count too.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z was a TV show, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought you talked about the original Dragon Ball movie, and I was like, you're going to bring that piece of shit in here?
No. Oh, my God.
You're going to
I forgot
leave that here in front of everyone?
Yeah. I'm just going to leave a steamy pile of Dragon Ball and walk out of the room. No, but the DBZ games.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like the latest one, like Kakarot and everything, which you've actually just played.
Yeah.
And you just picked up. And you say that one's really good.
Yeah, I think it's a big old nostalgia trip. Like, I caught myself like actually smiling during some pieces of it. And it was a good feeling. It was cool. I like it so far.
And it's funny because I was actually gonna originally, when we were asking about like what if there were any good movies based on video games, but I almost said The Witcher, and then I stopped myself and I was like, oh wait. That was a book series. That's not actually. It's a game that's based on a book series. So, and the show is actually more geared.
People are
going to
crucify you. It was a book series.
Yeah,
these are literature.
Because I almost said that when I was like, "Well, The Witcher's like a pretty good show," but then I was like, "Oh wait, fuck, that's nope. You can't even count it." A lot of people like the Angry Birds movies. Those fucking movies sold like 400 million in the box office. They're like seriously some of the top
just a bunch of parents that didn't know what the fuck to do with their kids.
Yeah. I don't know how we missed that one. How was that not on the list?
I'm
disappointed. Shame on you, Wiki. These are supposed to be facts that can't be disputed on Wikipedia.
Every summer has that movie that a bunch of bored parents take their fucking kids to. It's like, what are we going to do?
Right.
Oh, let's drag them to Angry Birds 2 or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Or 50 Shades of Grey.
Exactly. It's not abuse if you like it.
So like I do find it funny that most of the time it in the reverse, it works out just fine. But Hollywood, if you're listening to this podcast, which I know you are, because we're big time.
Oh yeah.
Stop.
Please stop.
I'm pretty sure
hurting
even
the things we love.
I'm pretty sure even that terrible ass Fast and Furious game that just got announced at the Game Awards that wrapped up the Game Awards. I'm pretty sure that game will be better than the movies.
We're gonna end the Game Awards with just a big Duke on.
It's you know what I almost wondered with all the backlash that he was that Neely, whatever the fuck his name is, was getting on Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wondered if like that was his fuck you, like back to like this the gaming community for like putting all the pressure to be like, you better not fucking make that win. Because it was funny because they dropped that steamy pile of fucking Fast and Furious shit, and then they announced the game of the year was Sekiro. And then they're just like, bye.
Yeah.
And then he just walked off. Like, they spent no time. Like, you would think that there'd be this big thing.
It's one of those things where, like, it's that whole, maybe, I don't think gamers are as susceptible to being starstruck as people who love movies. Like, you can't keep thinking about Kevin Spacey in that one game. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
But it's just like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If a fucking movie stars in our game.
Yeah.
It's just not how gamers roll. I'm not speaking for everyone, but that's how I feel.
That's a good thing, good point to bring up too, is actors that portray in video games.
Yeah.
And I actually don't like that. Because to me, weird. Like it kind of pulls me out of the experience. Like when I play a game, like I like to immerse myself. Like I kind of want to become the character. Yeah, and it's like I'm just playing this guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing Norman Reedus. I'm playing what's his name, Monahan, and Kevin Spacey's trying to kill me. Like it's just
He'll do more than kill you.
alert. It's just I don't know, like something about that's just like I mean I can live with it, but something about it just like
I don't mind as a gimmick. Like in the new Gears, they put Dave Bautista as a skin.
Really?
Yeah. And like as a gimmick, I was like, okay, you don't have to inject him in your game. It's a neat little side thing.
In Gears 5.
In the new one, he's a skin you can buy.
That's funny.
But past a gimmick, like every time you're right. Every time I see a movie star pop into my game, like they put that guy in the new Ghost game, Breaking Point, which I heard sucked.
I don't even know.
The guy from The Walking Dead, Sean. Punisher.
Oh, really?
The guy who played the Punisher.
In what game?
Ghost Recon Breaking Point. He was the bad guy.
Oh, interesting.
I only know him as the guy who plays the Punisher.
Yeah.
Everyone correct me. Who is he? When internet. But yeah, he was in that new game too. But apparently it sucked. It doesn't matter. It sucked. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't get starstruck in games. I get like, what's the opposite of starstruck?
Ground.
Starboard? Waterboarded?
No, I don't think that's it. Moving on. So what? So okay, so we talk a lot about like all this shit sucks. All these movies suck. Is there like if you had the power, is there like a certain gaming franchise or movie that you'd like to direct or star in?
Conker's bad for a day.
This is just
I want to be the squirrel.
Gex.
Just be the world's most weird furry.
Oh God. So yeah, movies that you'd like to direct. I'll start because
you're an asshole.
Well, I've had one since I was like a youngin'.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was a kid, and then keep in mind that this is not something I'm going to do. This is not something I like. My hopes and dreams.
Oh, he's going to do it.
Okay, bear in mind that I was 14 or something like that, and this was just something that went on in my head.
Just imagine the world's biggest loser.
Yeah. With my bowl cut.
Bowl cut, I remember that.
I had to I was like, God, I had that way too long.
Way
longer than you should ever have a bowl cut.
Your parents fucking hate you.
So anyway, when I was this young, weird, awkward loser, Mega Man.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had this idea. I wanted to do a Mega Man movie. And all right, I'm gonna pitch this.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm a producer.
If you're
just
listening,
lay it on me.
If you're listening, Warner Brothers or whoever will take me. As long as, I don't want to do anything to get this movie made.
Like,
Or do I?
I'll suck your dick.
Reverse psychology. I do want it. So I thought it would be really cool to do like this sort of like Christopher Nolan-esque style of gritty realism to the Mega Man universe.
Christian Bale being Mega Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to blast you.
I'm going to kill you. Riley, I'm not going to do this anymore. So anyway, so picture this, right?
All
right.
I'm right.
So a landscape shot, right? We're on the snowy mountains. Camera slowly zooms in.
You really thought this through.
This is like my trailer. This was like the trailer that was in my head. Oh, it's going to get real nerdy.
All right.
And then you have a scene with Dr. Wiley and what was the bad guy's name?
Was it Dr. White?
Dr. White.
Was it?
Dr. White was the good one, right?
I think
so.
so.
White was the good one and Riley was the bad one.
Yeah.
So Dr. Riley and Dr. White were partners.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working on this robot stuff together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a disagreement, right? Because Riley wants to do something more, advanced, get a little bit more powerful over these. But Dr. White's like, no, we're doing this for a better cause and yada, yada, which isn't too far off the game yet, right? And well, it turns out that like they have this disagreement and Dr. White, the good one, is off at some kind of event, an award event where he's getting presented something, and Dr. Riley is decides that while he's out real late at night, he's going to go home and he's going to steal all the blueprints and the plans, and he's going to run away. He's going to run off.
How animated he is right now with his hands. He's literally holding the blueprint. He's
Yeah.
holding the blueprints in his hands right now.
And then, anyway, so it's real late at night. Dr. White's off of this thing. Riley's there stealing the stuff. And the boy, right, the son, and I figured this is probably like an adopted, or Dr. White's like divorced or something, and he has his son.
Make him adopted and like a redheaded.
There you go. And he comes down because he hears all this commotion going off in the lab, and he thinks it's his dad. So he goes in and he's like, "Dad," like rubbing his eyes like he's still all sleepy. Macaulay Culkin. That's right. We're gonna go back in time to film this.
We're gonna use the aging technology.
That's
Macaulay Culkin.
gonna be the same.
What
Macaulay
a 180
Culkin.
that's gonna
We're
be.
just gonna pull him in like toddler clothes, and anyway, so he goes in and then he sees Dr. Wiley there stealing stuff. He's like, "What are you doing?" And in a haste, Dr. Wiley like grabs stuff and like tries to run away, knocking over a bunch of chemicals. And
shit.
And the son tries to stop him, but Riley knocks him out, right? Like,
Who hits a fucking
straight
kid?
up punches this kid in the back of the head,
For comedic
knocks
relief.
him out, and all these chemicals start a fire, and
Okay.
Riley runs off. So the boy, the son, gets burned sort of alive in this house, but he's
All
not
right.
quite dead because White comes home in time to get him out of the fire, but not enough time to save him. He dies ish. And then Dr. White, using his technology, sort of semi puts him back together and turns him into Mega Man.
All right.
And it's sort of this like semi revenge.
Are you gonna bring in the dog at the very end though?
Oh, naturally.
So the dog's gonna have to get lit on fire
I
too.
think the dog could be like the reveal for like the sequel.
People are gonna like a dog getting lit on
Yeah.
fire.
No, they're not gonna like that. So anyway, that's my that was my trailer idea for Mega Man. You can see I spent no time at all.
Well, while I zoned out and listened to you blather on for the last like 5 minutes, I decided Metroid.
Wow,
Metroid.
good for you. That's progressive.
Yeah, girl power. Yeah. Hey, no one knows. There's like a sexy chick under that suit.
Yeah.
So-
Well, a lot of people do forget that is a female.
Yeah.
People that don't know Metroid very well.
But I think that'd be cool. I think you could go straight horror with it almost.
He said horror, not whore. Okay, calm down.
It's one of those kind of movies. The Metroids really get her. You know what I mean? Jesus. So you could almost do an alien style movie. She's a bounty hunter. She goes on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
You could make the Metroid scary as fuck if you want enough CGI, and have progress through, have an objective, whatever the fuck it is. I could see that being a cool movie.
Be a
She's
lot
kind of
like
a
Alien.
badass.
Wouldn't it be like Alien?
Kind of, but just like badass kind of space bounty hunter.
Yeah.
You could make it into an action horror game. A movie. I could see that being kind of cool
Yeah.
to a certain extent. The plot doesn't have to be that crazy. You know, it's a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
A popcorn movie, you know, for the summer.
Yeah.
Like action horror. Look, they just had Kirsten Stewart in fucking Underwater. They can make fucking Metroid.
Yeah.
Guarantee to be better than that piece of shit. All right. So I think we got some ideas there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, why are we even still doing this podcast?
Why are we even here right now? Spread the word, internet.
We have to go. We're expecting some calls. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that about does it for us. So you can follow us on Twitter at couch_cousins. And if you have any questions or suggestions, or just want to reach out to us and, give us some money to make our films that we just pitched to you, you can reach out to us at couchplaycousins@gmail.com. And we're going to be starting a Twitch stream. We're finally going to do it. We're going to be doing it this Saturday at around 1 o'clock. So yeah, tune into that, and we should be doing that every other Saturday at around 1 o'clock. But the biggest thing you can do, other than, give us money for our movies, is spread the word. Share us with anyone and everyone you know that would be interested in this kind of shit. And that's it. So cheers.
Later.